Insights on Leadership in Life with your host, Roberta Pickett.
We are back with Insights on Leadership in Life. I'm your host, Roberta Pickett, and I am here with Aaron Allard and Tyler and Jasmine Heydrich. And thanks, you guys, again for being here. We are talking about the younger generation. That's my phrase, about Gen Y and millennials and being entrepreneurs and young professionals in this world. So I think it's awesome that you're doing it. And just in your introductions, I really get that you guys get what it's about. Mm-hmm. Having a dream, starting with the dream, turning it into a vision, and then going for the plan, making it happen.
Yeah.
And you're going to be killing it. It's going to be great. So this segment, what I'd really like to talk about is that younger generation, about Generation Y or the Millennials, because the research that I've read says that you guys, what makes you different is that you're tech savvy, clearly more than I am, that you're very family oriented, that you're really into work-life balance, a lot of teamwork ideas, and what was the last? Oh, I thought this was interesting, that you're good communicators and that you like to be loved. I thought, now that's an interesting one to add to the description of your generation. So, does that describe you guys?
It does, yeah.
So I think a good part of it, for me personally, yeah.
Yeah, so how are you like it and how are you not?
I definitely am tech and web savvy. I definitely love to be loved. I think a lot of that comes from this kind of selfie phenomenon, and this, like on Facebook and Instagram, constantly posting things about what you're doing because we want people to like what we're doing. Studies have been shown that your brain fires when you get
the like.
Yeah. So I think that's part of it.
Yeah.
Collaboration and teamwork, I think, is exciting, especially when you meet other people who are definitely on the same wavelength as you. That's when it's most exciting for me. But I can't remember what some of the other ones were.
Communicator, ambitious, family-oriented, work-life balance.
Oh, the work-life balance, yeah, it's really hard. I admit that for once I kind of became an entrepreneur, it was all work and no life. So it's really a struggle for me to balance them, because when I'm not working, I feel guilty, and when I am working, I feel guilty that I should be doing the other thing.
Well, to me, and maybe I'm an anomaly, but I think that our generation struggles with that too. It's like the work ethic, you got to work. But obviously, what are we working for is for our family, right? Or, whatever that center of love around you is. And so it's, that's where I hear some of these and I think, well, we're not so different, are we? But, maybe we are. So how do you think you're different from your parents?
Well, I think.
Remember, they're watching.
Right. I think one of the primary things, which I won't say necessarily is different from my parents, because I've actually never asked them this, but I think as part of being in your 20s, you really do a lot of introspection and actually figure out what are the ways that what are the things I'm doing because that's what my parents taught me to do, versus do I actually like doing that? For example, neither of my parents likes avocados, so I hadn't tried an avocado until I was 20 years old, and I love avocados. So that's just a small example of kind of what it's like to be in your 20s and kind of exploring your independence, I guess.
Yeah, pushing out those boundaries a little bit and saying, hey, just because I hadn't done it before doesn't mean I can't. Yeah, great. What about you guys?
Go ahead.
Well, I wanted to touch on the teamwork aspect and just... I think our situation is a very perfect example of teamwork. The four of us, meaning Tyler and I and my two little girls, get up every morning and we all go to work together because it is a kids' gym, and so they're allowed to be there. And
so that speaks also to the family, work-life balance.
Exactly.
As well.
So we all work together. The girls know that we're there for work. Obviously, the work is quite fun for them, but they all know that we we get
Do
up
they
and
have
go.
jobs?
They do. My older one, my 5-year-old, could. I swear she could run a birthday party if she had to. But she knows where things go, what who does what and how, and if they can do that or not. So she does help. So and we do give her, she takes a bit of responsibility in that as well.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's important. And I think, we learn so much by watching others. And I always love to say the camera is always on. That's, to me, in leadership, it's a very important thing to remember that people are watching you. So how you do things, how you comport yourself is such a critical factor. But it's obviously true of being a parent as well.
Exactly. You're under a microscope as a
Yep.
parent.
Yeah, very true. So do you think you fit into the mold of the millennials?
I do, yeah. A lot of those kind of ring true. The team one, like she touched on, we go to work every day as a team, and even with my family who lives right down the road, we're a team with them too. We're in a position and we are in because of all their help and kind of guidance along the way.
Do you feel like there's a lot of difference between your parents' generation and you?
I think actually I was raised by a family who I think we're similar to the way I was brought up. So
they're entrepreneurs too, right?
Yeah. Creative too. My mom, always is doing something creative. So she brought me up in an environment to kind of build that muscle, So
yes, yeah.
As a whole, though, I think our generation is faced with some new challenges that are, not forcing us, but we're going to have to get creative to face some of these.
Yeah, I heard a quote the other day about the jobs that are changing, things that will be different in the future, and huge numbers of jobs going away to being taken over by technical ways. And so that's going to leave a large number of the workforce, and it's obviously already starting, where they either don't have the skill sets for the jobs that are there, or we have to create new jobs.
Yeah.
And I think that is going to be a challenge for your generation. And maybe that's the mandate. Maybe that's why you are creative, is to bring that something new to the world. We don't know what it's going to be yet, right?
Well, I think the connection, the always being connected, is a great highway to creating something for yourself, creating your own little niche in the world.
And when you say connected, what do you mean?
Connected by the internet. I'm
Social
sure all of
media,
us here have a cell phone, social media. I mean, I think that is a huge way that we're different from, previous generations.
And I will agree, because, we're trying to catch up or to fit in some ways, but it's not. I like to say, I don't wear my cell phone.
Yeah.
My kids, are your age. They wear their cell phones. It's part of their body.
Yes.
But it's not the same for me. So how does that change things for you guys? Having that tech.
We are always connected.
Yeah, having that there's so much information that if you guys needed some information, you had to go to the library and look up the encyclopedia. We have this information.
That's right,
at
the
our
encyclopedia.
fingertips. I remember
The
that
32 volumes.
So in some ways, that's we have a leg up on you guys because we have that great tool.
Yeah.
It's very true.
And I think to tack on what you said earlier about jobs going away and new jobs being created, I just recently started teaching myself how to program, and it's been really exciting. I studied French in college, and I loved the feeling in my brain of learning that much information and being able to use it. And so I think technology, it is going to force us to catch up in some ways. I feel like I'm catching up from 20-year-olds who've been already doing this for 6 years.
Yeah.
It does force you to catch up, but like Jasmine said, you're always connected, so the access to information that Tyler's talking about, all the programming that I'm learning it for free online, which I think is not something that the generation before us could do.
That's very true. Huge cost to go into learning programming. Although I really triggered on a comment you made. It's almost like it is learning a new language. It's just a
Very
different
much so.
type of
Yeah.
language, because I know I went to Spain for a year and learned Spanish
Cool.
quite well, and that sense of it's almost like that new language is a different part of the brain that you can't even explain.
Yeah.
So I would imagine that's the same for you guys with either programming or even with the other technical aspects, that you're interacting with a different part of your brain and expanding that muscle, as you commented, which is a great way to put it.
Yeah.
What do you think do you think that is the most positive thing about your generation then? Or is there something else that you...
Yeah, I would say so. I would
Pretty
say.
big one.
Yeah.
Meaning technology? Is that what you meant? The most positive thing about our generation is technology?
Well, or the staying connected piece.
Connectedness? Yeah, I think so in a very broad sense. Like I do tend to follow the things on like GoFundMe or Indiegogo, where you just have these
That's a creative thing.
these huge masses of people supporting some person or some cause. I think that is a really wonderful example of kind of an invention that came out of the millennial generation to help other people.
Yeah, it's very organic. I mean, when you see that, it's like, oh, that's cool. Let me go look at that. And then all of a sudden you go, oh, it's a GoFundMe kind of a project. That's neat. I like that. And I mean, $5 here, $5 there. The difference that can start to make is very neat. Well, believe it or not, it's the end of another segment. So we're going to take another commercial break, and we will be right back with more insights on leadership in life.